Sorry, I'm just gonna say it in the beginning. If anything that comes out of my mouth, that comes out of my mouth in this video, I am not going to hold back in this one. I'm not going to hold back in this one. There's no point to. We got too much stuff that's supposed to break off, and such little fucking time. So, welcome back to Uncensored News, where we go deep and into news uncensored. And a lot of people don't like to do that. I respect Paul because he's not only religious, but he makes his news uncensored as well. Some of his news is very uncensored. So I respect the man for that. So is 007. And look, I don't know if you guys have put the dots together. Everyone's separately finding their version of what the fuck is going on right now. Everyone's separately finding their version right now. There's a lot going on. And if you guys are still on the separate train that everything is not tied together at this point, reevaluate your mind and think that this is all tied together. Every single thing that's happening right now is tied together. Your theories on this situation is most likely tied to what is going on and what is about to happen. I've always said there's about a few scenarios that can happen. There is a few scenarios that can happen, but I promise you they're tied together. So the big thing everyone's talking about is the WHO and Biden signing away our sovereignty. My people, my friends, my family. He's done that when he first got into office. He did that when he first got it. Y'all remember all those 32 executive orders that he signed? My friends, he did that when we didn't even know half of them fucking documents. We didn't know. Everything was tying in. When he first got into office, it was even with the voting. Remember, the voting was the Democrats' biggest issue. The voting was the Democrats' biggest issue at the time. Because they were like, oh no, there's fraud and all that. Remember that when he first got into office? That wasn't long ago. Okay. Fast forward, the end of last year, they had already talked about smallpox and monkeypox. That was the biggest thing going around. People said that a second pandemic was coming, and the first one was a test to see how people would react to being locked down and controlled. Everybody reacted differently. Some people were aggressive with it, some people protested it, and some people just didn't give a fuck. And most of our country didn't give a fuck. They were too scared to do shit. We were so brainwashed into stand away from each other that we didn't care. Okay. Divorce rates and everything went up last year. The biggest breakup year ever. And the year before that. What's my point? Everything is coming together. So, we're about to go into a world war. I don't know if y'all heard China. I don't know if y'all heard what China was telling their people. That they're about to go to war with America. And that's why they're locking down a lot of their people right now. Whether that's true or not. They're saying we're in a very difficult situation. We are in another pandemic. And we're getting ready to go to war with America. Oh. Who else is saying they're about to go to war with America? Russia. Did y'all not see their news? What they're telling their people? They're already at war with NATO and America. NATO and America is on the front lines. Did y'all see the United States? The point is, the United States and NATO are on one end of the stick. China and Russia and a few other countries on the other half of the stick. Some of these countries want to be controlled, some of these countries don't. That's where the WHO comes in, and that's where the WO comes in. Because remember, all these states want to sign away their sovereignty. Don't that go in with the one world government theory that a lot of people are passing around? Don't that go in and tie in exactly with that? All these countries, 190 something countries, signing away their sovereignties of their people and their lands to the WHO. That sounds kind of familiar. While another pandemic is going around, maybe monkeypox ain't spreading everywhere, but it's starting to. It's starting to. And that was the thing they were practicing for if they wanted to lock down our country. Or any country at that point. Remember when Joe Biden said he would put the UN here for racism? Now, this ain't about Democrats or Republicans. I'm not going back and forth on that train. I'm talking about what he said out of his own goddamn mouth. I'm not on either side. I already told you guys, I'm on the side of the people. I don't go for governments. I don't believe none of the bullshit that come out of their mouth. I don't believe none of the money that they spend their shit on is what they're spending it on. I believe we've been brainwashed. I believe they've been trading around our money like fucking, they've been laundering our money like fucking, like a fucking bank. I think Ukraine's the biggest bank right now. All these countries that's in trouble, and Ukraine is just our best friend, and we've already been tied to corruption with Ukraine. People, get off of your asses. And start doing your research. The Buffalo shooter. Now, I know a lot of people have not been into my TikTok lives. And I went into deep detail about the Buffalo shooter. Because I ran into something that blew my fucking mind, and I've been passing it around since. Do you know who the fuck your money's going to? And I'm going to tell you that. The person that your money is going to is the person that's against all of us. Every single one of us. Watch more and more shit happen in this country. The Buffalo shooter, he was wearing the black sun. Y'all know what the black sun is. The black sun is tied into the Azov. The Azov is tied into the neo-Nazis that Russia was talking about. The neo-Nazis was in Mariupol and is getting captured right now by the Russians. The neo-Nazis were the whole reason the Russians went into fight, or go into the fight with Ukraine. Not only that, to back NATO off their back door. But remember they said they were taking out Nazis? Go look up the Azov. Go look up who they're tied to, and go look up the symbols. They're tied to Ukraine. They're tied to Ukraine. So you're feeling bad and sending all this money over here. But those are the ones that was torturing their own people. Remember when Ukrainians were saying, Russia's not even here fighting us. Our army is already fighting. Who was their army fighting? Because it was before the Russians even started the invasion. They were talking about explosions on buildings and shit. Open your eye. I'm not on Russia's side. I can give a two damns about their government. I only give a fuck about their people. Just like I always said about our people. I only give a fuck about the human race, man. Not these governmental pricks that put shit in our head and that brainwash us on a daily basis. I'm smart enough to look past all that bullshit now. I'm getting too old to be brainwashed for the rest of my fucking life. Do your research of what France said back in the 1980s. This has all been planned for years, and this was into France. It was like, oh, how will we control the people? Well, we start a pandemic, we lock them down, we give them a jab that they don't want to take, and yeah, we go from there. Then in the end game, it's a world war. Iran is about a week away from developing nuclear weapons, probably a little less now. This is why Israel and the United States is practicing strikes on Iran right now. I'm trying to go into this as deep as I can. North Korea has now had hypersonic missiles that has 40 nukes now. The last time, North Korea was a big deal to the world, they only had about 10 to 20 nukes. And they had no hypersonic missiles. Russia is the biggest nuclear power on the fucking planet, and people seem to be okay with war with Russia. They don't even know what it's going to do to our planet. And every time they threaten us to back off of their operations, aka biolabs in Ukraine, aka what is going around right now. Multiple different variants of multiple different diseases, guys. Everyone's going along with it except for the people that ain't part of the agenda. AKA, let me rewind. Russia's the biggest nuclear power. NATO is expanding and saying they're going to protect Finland and Sweden, whether, they're in NATO or not. And I ain't talk about Turkey. Turkey was all planned to begin with to veto this. So it can seem like they're not expanded. But NATO's already in Finland. You already know they're doing the big drills right now in Finland. They're in Estonia. They're doing drills on Russia's border, building even more bases. Now, the thing is, Russia's countering this by building bases on their western border. So we have NATO building on the east and Russia building on the west. If you know anything about the map, they are right by each other. Not only is Russia sending nuclear weapons now, they're deploying nukes now. It's a wrap. It's a wrap. Whatever the end game is to this is about to end bad. Tomorrow, May 22nd, the what do you call it? The WHO, sorry, the WHO, sorry. The WHO is supposed to be voting to take away our sovereignty if we're in a bad situation. If we get into a pandemic in this country, they'll be allowed to handle it any way they are, even if it means taking you away from your own family. If you're a danger to your child and you're not letting him get the vaccine, guess what? He gets to come with us. He gets to come with us. Oh, and they can force you into quarantine camps. It's all in their documents. It's all in there. Just like China's doing with their people, they can do it to us. They can force us in there. No wonder, we're running out of food and a lot of these big buildings are about to shut down. A lot of these huge buildings, if you know what I mean. Walmart. Okay. Walmart just lost billions. Lowe's just lost billions. Come on, guys. These places are about to shut down. This was never meant to last forever. We were programmed to think it was going to last forever. They got all the stuff they need. They got all the sperm samples they need. They got everything they need to rebirth this planet. They got bunkers for themselves. Look, guys, the politicians, the United States didn't hide it. We only got bunkers for only the 7,000 higher up politicians and not our families, just our politicians. And the rich that is, rich enough to buy some bunkers. Not the civilians. No, we will be stuck here watching Biden say, bye-bye, guys. Yeah, we're going to war with Russia. See you later. Now, I've always said this can go two ways because it's going to war direction. I'm telling you that. That's the end game. The WHO ties into all of this because if there's a world crisis, we need a lockdown. And the only way to lockdown is to either cut the power to this country, what I've always said. If we communicate with each other, we're too powerful. We are too powerful and we're considered terrorists to our own governments. So the biggest thing they're going to do is shut down all the power. Y'all see they keep talking about the grid and the water disappearing, right? No water, no power. They can make power without water, but they don't want to. And they can make water from cloud seeding, but they don't do that. So our grid is vulnerable, right? That's what they keep saying this year. Our grid is very, very vulnerable. But they're not teaching us what to do when the lights go out. They're not teaching you that. Huh. They're not teaching you that. They're not. And they're not going to teach you that. So, why is New Jersey putting up what do they call it? Damn it. Contamination. Decontamination signs. Sorry. Oh no, I'm just waking up, man. Why are they putting up the signs to decontaminate yourself in an event of a radioactive burst, or I should say a nuclear explosion? Why is Texas right now practicing for it? Why did FEMA practice for it at the beginning of this year and say that they canceled it but still went along with the drills? Because it was supposed to be on camera for all of us to see what to do in a nuclear explosion, a air burst, a EMP, anything like that. They were supposed to teach us that. That was what they were doing the drills. Nobody questioned none of this. Why did Russia simulate striking American troops on the western border with nukes? Why did the United States simulate attacking the Russian soil with nukes? Why did the United States deploy hypersonics to Europe? Why is the hypersonics the new thing? Why are we in a new arms race? Why are they trying to make excuses to lock us down? Why are they taking away our rights day by day? Why are we struggling with food? Don't you guys see that this is all tied in together? People are on different paths of this, but we're all human, man. Why is gas disappearing and diesel starting to disappear? They want that. They want that. I thought that America had enough oil reserves so our gas prices wouldn't go. But didn't I tell you guys? Didn't I tell the ones that have been on my TikTok for so long that our prices was going to go down a little bit? It was going to go down a couple cents or whatever. And everybody, oh, yes, it's working. The oil reserves are working. Yes. And then it's going to boom right through the fucking roof. Now, this ties into the Civil War theory that I've been talking about. The Civil War theory. This is another one that I try not to talk about it. I try not to talk about the Civil War theory. Now, the Civil War theory is, when people get desperate. This all is going to tie in together. We already can't find shit, right? So what happens when the lights go out and everybody takes the shit? Or what happens when just things just start disappearing and we start getting desperate? We are paying over, $150 for gas. I ain't talking about right now, I'm just saying it, period. That's where we're going to be going. $150 of gas, that means Uber's out the window, on top of semi-truck driving, who already pays about 1,000 something. So imagine them at 1,500, filling up their tank with diesel. My point is, without semi-truck drivers, you're not going to get your shit. Without semi-truck drivers, a lot of these restaurants ain't going to get food. Or these markets ain't going to get their stock supplies. And if they stop, just like if they start stopping the trains, which don't really go off gas, really more of a coal thing. But still, trains can't deliver everything. Not these days. They need to get unloaded. I took a couple Ubers. You know what they told me? I don't even know why I'm still working this job. My money going to the tank and I only got about enough money to get myself something to eat and go to bed. Why the fuck are you working for Uber then? That don't sound pleasant at all. People making $16 to $17 an hour was excited about it, right? Everybody everywhere. I'm getting $16, $17 an hour. And then they just slap you in the face with taxes. Because they want to spend our money on that money, money laundering. And be on some bull crap. Okay, now just going back to what I was saying in the beginning. All of this is tied together. And I don't know how this story is about to end, but this story is about to get really crazy really fast. They're calling this supposedly the Great Reset. That's the word that everybody uses, right? And they're expecting a pandemic within the V's. And I'm just saying like vaccines, within the vaccines. That don't mean you're wrong for getting it. That don't mean you're right. That's your opinion, your body, your choice. And I've always said that. I've always said that. They're expecting it to them. And guys, Don't hate me. Hate your government. Because remember what they said? Remember what they said, right? Remember what they said. The vaccines are heroes. The unvaccinated are not. They're our enemies. They're terrorists. They need to be locked up. But then, hold on. Then they switched around and said, well, now the vaccines are giving it to everybody. Remember that? They put it all over the news. They were just calling us heroes. No, it's just to split us up, man. It's been to split us up. We're split on everything. Split on everything in the world. And people are crying because they realize it's not just us. It's the world. The world is divided. Except some countries are willing to stand up against their governments and fight this shit. They get tired of it. But y'all see what happened to Kazakhstan when they stepped up against their government. When they wasn't able to get shit out of their ATMs. When shit was going crazy over there. Y'all seen what happened in Kazakhstan. The power went out. Boom! No, how dare you talk to your family and gather up against us. As the M5s and the CIA was in there fighting with the Russians. A lot of people didn't know that, but I'm just going to put it out here because I said this is uncensored. So I got to talk about everything I know. Just like the M5s and the CIA is in Ukraine right now fighting Russians with Ukraine and the neo-Nazis and the Azovs. Then we got Israel. Yesterday, they actually struck some of Iran's military targets in Syria. And you know the crazy part where it was at? Damascus, bro. Yeah, I got some really bad feelings about these couple of weeks or days. I think things are about to get wild in this world, and I think what we've been used to for all these years that we've been alive, whether you're 50 to 60 years old, or whether you're 20 to 30 years old, or maybe 10 to 20, maybe you didn't even get that much, but you still had a lot of fun, huh? We still had a good time. We got used to this new way the world is. I mean, come on, guys. Back in the 1910s and 20s, they didn't really have a lot of stuff that we have now. They wasn't even thinking about the stuff that we had now. And we just thought we were going to go further and further and further up. We thought our future was going to be like they said on our TVs, flying cars everywhere, and two people going through the tubes. And no, bro, no. You see, the Great Reset is going to take all that away. The Stone Age is coming. If you don't know how to live in the Stone Age, you are not going to make it. If you don't know how to live without a dollar going to the grocery store, you're not going to make it. If you don't even know how to start a fire to keep you and your family, well, you are not going to make it. I'm going to tell you now, your government is getting ready to abandon you. What happened when Afghanistan got taken over? The president left on the plane, didn't he? Bye, guys. The Taliban's here. I gotta go. Now, what if I told you your government's sitting on us? And we might be outnumbered right now. Because we don't know how long this inflation's been going on over all these years. I'm going to put every single year in it. There might have been somebody trying to fight it, but I'm just going to put it in there. We don't know how long this inflation's been going on. We don't know how many spies are stuck into this country. We don't know how many soldiers are secretly stuck into this country in the disguise of civilians. We don't know anything. So when the power goes out and you're looking everywhere and they got snipers through the trees popping people and they're starting shit in the middle of your street like they've already been doing with the power on, then I don't want to hear shit. Because we've been trying to tell you folks for years that something big was coming to prepare yourself. I know that not everybody's going to listen. Everyone has their own theories on this shit. But now look at it. Everyone that's talking about this is blowing up because now people want to know. Where did this all start? We try to tell everybody where it all started, man. We tried to get you guys prepared years ago. We've always said we don't know the dates and times, and I'm not going to speak for every fucking YouTuber and TikTok. I'm going to speak for myself on this one. I've always said I don't know the date or time, but I know something is coming very soon. And now I started talking to people in the army. Now I got somebody in NATO that I've been talking with who's saying that shit's about to hit the fan really fucking fast. And I've been on point about my videos and where the direction that everything is going. Have army men telling me code names of how all this is going to end and how people ain't gonna like it. Y'all better start listening, man. If you're not, you better start listening. I have my base. I have people that's been following me for a long time. That see they'll shut down channel after channel. That see me put up classified information about the clones and all that shit underground. The big clone tubes that they got underground. The sperm samples they got underground and on the moon and everything, man. I'm just telling you guys, it's all tied together. Whether this is part of depopulation to restart the earth, they got a way to repopulate it. And guess what? They don't need a womb. That's why they are. Y'all see that they have artificial wombs now? Your baby can get all its vitamins and everything from a womb and a robot. I ain't talking about a robot like, a built-up robot. No, I'm talking about this little tube. You just put the little sperm in it, beep, and it gives it everything that it needs. I don't think you could call that a human baby if it's artificially built.